Hello, I'm Ryan Centeno, and today I was really hoping on teaching you guys a little bit about cinema and filmmaking in general. Movies, film, and cinema have all dated all the way back to early 1900s and the late 1800s. And I imagine that many of you have at least, a couple favorite films or have at least seen a couple of movies in your lifetime. I, as for one, actually took a class back in my high school years called video production, where I was actually taught how to edit, produce, and create my own little movies, as well as taught laws and the process of it, and etc. But filmmaking and cinema, all in all, is a really interesting hobby to participate in, since it's a way to demonstrate ideals, show off representations, and tell off even stories of its time. And with that, I would like to talk about the past of cinema, the connection it has and its relevance on us, and how you can even participate or even at least enjoy the fruits of cinema. Now, dating with its past, the first ever film was made in 1895, which was actually not a film, but more of a display of images. There was this machine called the cinematograph, which allowed you to view moving pictures and create the idea of watching a film, at least with the knowledge of our days. And as I quote from the Science Media Museum, it was first stated by the Lumiere brothers, who created the machine, tested it, and displayed it in 1895 in the December of 1895 for a live audience, where it was taken very well. But even before that, there was another similar tool which started off the idea of it, which was called the kinetoscope. It wasn't a tool to display stuff, but to view. It did the same. It had the same mechanisms as the cinematograph, but only one viewer could watch. And back then, movies were very different compared to nowadays, where they were very short, almost no music, no sound, pure silence, and they could only be shown on tall screens, as in the wall, or just set up in dark rooms. But further on, I like to talk about its relevance and it has with the people. And I'll explain a bit about how it's entwined with us and how we, as a viewer, can relate to a film or even cinema. And I imagine that many of you probably have lines or favorite quotes from movies, or probably just have favorite characters that you've been able to resonate with. And it's just a simple enjoyment you can feel with just connecting and watching and viewing these films. But to quote Roger Ebert, he says, "It does so to your emotions." The way you resonate with a film or character or even lines of dialogue is through your emotions. And he explains that it affects you in an intellectual, philosophical, and even political way. And it's the sheer beauty of the film that is very compelling. And that goes in many ways depending on the viewer. At times you may feel the emotions of what the film is trying to convey, or you might feel emotions of the opposite. But nonetheless, it will always resonate with us in one way or another. And a more recent example is taking a good look at the MCU universe. A perfect example is Hannah Flint, as she wrote that viewers can put themselves in the shoes of the heroes and even accomplish the perceived pitfalls they may receive. And film allows us to relate and resonate with the problems of the heroes or the characters in the film, and as if it were a way to deal with our own real life problems. And moving on to my final point, which is being more hands-on, is there's a couple of ways you can interact with cinema or film. And one of the ways is to just enjoy the fruits of cinema. Just sit back and watch a movie or two. Or even create your own short little movie, regardless of how you want to create it. Agatha Luaska actually puts it very perfectly. She wrote that it provides a great background for social bonding and a great entertainment, which hammers down on my previous point. But the simplicity of sitting down and watching a small film is not too difficult. You could watch it in the cinema, you could watch it at home with friends, on your TV, anywhere. And it's such an easy way and such a simple occasion that you can enjoy anywhere. Another way to enjoy the fruits of cinema would be to actually film and create your own little pieces of art, which may not be the most creative for many people, but it sure did work for me. And with all of that out of the way, I do hope that many of you guys can acknowledge and even enjoy cinema in a whole new light and understand a bit of its history, understand how it can relate with someone, and how you could even enjoy it by your own self. But at the end of the day, I do hope you guys do take a reflection of how it impacted you and etc.